It was a quiet Thursday morning at a small-town diner just off I-95, the kind of place where the waitresses know your coffee order and the regulars always sit at the same tables. That day, it wasn't the eggs or the coffee people noticed. It was the man in uniform. Staff Sergeant Cole Matthews had just come home from his third tour overseas. The war had left its marks, visible and invisible. His left leg moved slower now. His hands shook slightly when he reached for his coffee. But his eyes told stories no one in that diner wanted to ask about. He walked in quietly, nodding to the hostess, a girl half his age who smiled nervously and led him to a booth near the window. That's when the hush fell over the room. The diner smelled of bacon grease, old coffee, and pancakes, a comfort smell for many. But today, there was a different scent in the air. Tension. Families sat stiffly at their tables. A couple across the room nudged their chairs subtly away. Two businessmen glanced over their shoulders, exchanged words in hushed tones. Cole noticed. Of course he did. He'd been trained to read rooms, just never expected to feel like a threat in one. He sat quietly, ordered a black coffee and scrambled eggs. Didn't ask for much, but when an elderly couple entered a few minutes later and were offered the booth beside him, they paused. "No, thank you," the man said sharply, voice firm enough to turn heads. "We'll sit somewhere else." Cole heard it. He didn't flinch. Didn't react, just stared out the window. But someone else did. A child. At the corner table, a girl no older than 10 had been coloring on a placemat. She stopped, stood up slowly, and walked over to Cole's table. The room held its breath. She reached into her coat pocket and pulled out something. Crumpled, folded, loved. A thank you card. Red, white, and blue stars scribbled around the words. She placed it on the table without a word and turned to walk back. But Cole called softly, "Wait." His voice cracked slightly, like someone speaking through memories too heavy to carry. "Thank you," he said. The child smiled. Her parents stared, frozen. The room was still. Until he stood up. From a back booth, a tall man with silver hair and a calm face stood. He wore jeans and a flannel shirt. No one had noticed him before. But now, he commanded the room. He walked over to the hostess and said something quietly. She blinked, nodded quickly, and handed him a microphone connected to the diner's old speaker system. What happened next? No one expected. The man tapped the mic once, and every head turned. "My name is Tom Delaney," he said, voice calm but ringing clear. "I served in Vietnam. Some of you didn't. That's fine. We made that choice for you." A beat. But this man right here, he gestured to Cole. He didn't just serve, he survived. He's seen things you pray your children never will. The room was silent. Chairs stopped scraping. Coffee cups froze mid-air. Tom continued, his voice rising only slightly. "If you think it's okay to shame a man for wearing a uniform, to act like his presence offends your comfort, then maybe you're the ones who need to move." People looked down, some shuffled in their seats. And then Tom did something even more unexpected. He turned to Cole, placed a hand on his shoulder, and said, "Son, it's an honor to sit with you." Then he slid into the booth, right across from him. The girl came back with her parents. They sat beside Tom. One by one, people began to rise. A mother with her toddler walked over and said, "Thank you for your service." The businessmen paid their bill, but not before shaking Cole's hand. Even the elderly couple who had first refused, they left in silence, but with heads slightly bowed. Cole never asked for recognition, never asked for gratitude. All he wanted that morning was breakfast, and maybe a little peace. But what he got was a reminder that courage doesn't always come with medals. Sometimes it walks in quietly in a flannel shirt. Sometimes it comes from a child's crayon card. Sometimes it speaks when others choose silence. And in that diner, for a brief moment, the weight he carried was just a little lighter. If this story moved you, share it. There are heroes walking among us, sometimes in silence, sometimes sitting alone, but not today. Subscribe to hear more stories that matter. And in the comments, tell us, what's one act of courage you witnessed that changed everything? This is Relieved Stories, real moments, real people, real heart.